All right. Um, Ready? Kind of. All right, here we go. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Afro Latinos. It's your boy Alvin,
Hey, Chandler.
and we're back. This has been an interesting week, Cheney. This week we elected a new. We didn't elect, but a new president was inaugurated. Congratulations to President Joe Biden on taking
Mr.
office. And listen, the inauguration was full of a lot of things. I'm not gonna hold you. I was nervous for this inauguration after the what's the word people are calling insurrection uh, that happened at the Capitol. I was like,
What that means?
this man. So remember 2 weeks ago when they stormed the Capitol?
Oh yeah, but
People have been called the insurrection. It's basically just like a coup, if you will.
That is spelled
After
COUP.
that is correct. That's correct. It's French. After that, I was like, this inauguration, they might as well be like us in here in Zoom, doing a Zoom inauguration, because this man's not safe. Like, these people can't get their lives together enough to like run a safe and secure. And I'm seeing like National Guard members that were dismissed from service because of like posting stuff that people were like posting stuff like super right wing, like crazy out there stuff. And so National Guard people who were supposed to be working security for like the inauguration, they were getting dismissed. And I'm like, bro, Joe Biden is not safe. Like there's nothing that they can do that will stop him from becoming president. But like, this man is not safe. So I was just
and backing him up. The only hero that stopped everybody in that Capitol, and he got I saw a picture. He went from that to being right behind like the president. Like,
right. It is just absolutely crazy. But listen, it brought us a safe time. I was pleasantly surprised. There were no attempts that we know of on this man's life. Everything seemed to go smoothly. Listen, President Barack Obama was looking pretty smooth out. Did you see him? Did you watch any of the inauguration?
I mean, it was on because Ruby put it on, but I didn't pay attention. But I have seen
that is a cold brother right there, man. I just want to eat dinner with him one time. Like you heard those discussions, like, if you could eat dinner with one celebrity or one person from history, like who would it be? Like that, the way he talks, he's just so smooth. I just want to sit back and just listen to him talk. Give me 10 minutes. President Barack Obama, if you're watching, just give me 10 minutes of your time. You know what I'm saying?
Highly doubt it.
Hey, you never know.
No damn president.
I gotta shoot my shot just in case, bro. You got 10 minutes of your time.
I mean, there might be somebody who knows him.
There might be somebody watching. You never know who's watching. You never know. So he was looking like a smooth brother. Michelle Obama, that she was working that outfit. But her, listen, the first ladies, and now I guess she's not the first lady. What do they call it? The second lady? The vice president. I don't know. Her husband is the second gentleman. So I was trying to figure out how it worked. But Kamala Harris, her outfit was fire. She was in this little purple joint. Her outfit was fire. Michelle Obama, her outfit was fire. Joe Biden with the little turquoise thing on, her outfit was fire. They came to play, bro. I was
they looking like the Jonas Brothers. I know you seen that.
I did see that. I was like, yo, that's crazy.
Like, look, so they were the exact same colors too. Like,
but you know what's crazy? What's so funny is that all the things, like everybody, for the most part, most of us were excited for this inauguration. We don't have to split hairs about why. But a lot of us were excited for this inauguration to take place. But what's the funniest thing I think is that the inauguration of Joe Biden was literally the least important thing that happened that day. Because everyone is talking about the three women and how amazing they looked. And if I see one more of these freaking Bernie Sanders memes, bro, he's like, "Where's Waldo?" It's like those old "Where's Waldo" books. It's now "Where's Bernie Sanders?" because people are putting this man. I
Everywhere.
seen him sitting with his little mittens, crossed hands with the mittens on and the coat. He was at the Last Supper with Jesus and the disciples. This man
Oh
was
nah.
watching courtside of the Lakers game. This man was like, "This dude is everywhere," and I was like, "Bro, how if he was this popular, he should have been the president."
I mean,
Somebody I
if you go
saw
by popularity, that's the only. You know
that's
what?
popular vote doesn't matter
But
because apparently that didn't work out too
no,
well for us in the last 4 years.
wait,
But hey, it is
but it
what it
did
is.
happen
You know what I'm saying? You
previously.
know,
He no no study about celebrity, but no nothing. You know what?
not a big deal. Not a big deal. We'll just move on. So what's crazy is that like he got so much popularity. Speaking of Bernie Sanders, he got so much popularity. I saw on Twitter like he needed this campaign to have come out when he was actually running for president because he might be the president now. But it's just like, how is it possible that this big event that everyone is waiting for, and that's the most important part that everyone remembers? It reminds me of the Mike Tyson fight from a couple months ago. So everyone was looking forward to Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. And that was like the biggest talked about thing. Everybody was super excited to see it.
Oh,
But the most important part of the night was
this
not
thing getting
that fight
rocked.
because it ended in the draw, even though Mike Tyson clearly won the fight. For anyone that was watching, you should agree with me. Mike Tyson clearly won the fight.
He did. He was rocking, man. But
I mean, Roy Jones Jr.
he,
The thing about that fight is he threw a lot of punches, but he was not connecting like Mike Tyson was. This dude was getting rocked, and
Mike Tyson was
you couldn't
making
pay
this
me enough to
man's
get hit by
hair
Mike
come off.
Tyson. Yeah, you couldn't hit me enough to get
He
pay me
said.
enough to
He
get hit by
said. So
Mike
would you do
Tyson.
it?
There's no way.
So would you do it again? Yeah, I would do it again.
He was like,
The guy.
don't. He said, don't ask me that. But so everyone was all talking about that, and everyone was looking forward to the inauguration. But the most talked about portion again was a meme. Nate Robinson getting knocked out by, was it Logan or Jake?
It was
I don't
Jake.
remember which. By Jake
It
Paul.
literally, as soon as it happened, maybe not even 10 minutes
Twitter
after, memes
was
everywhere.
ablaze. We stayed up that night until like 1:30 in the morning,
Saying all the
cracking
memes, bro.
up at all
Bro.
of the memes, just sending them to each other. But that's the exact same thing that happened with the inauguration. We were all looking forward to it, or most of us were looking forward to the inauguration taking place. And afterwards, not longer than 10 minutes after the whole event, somebody got a hold of this picture of Bernie Sanders looking all nice and snuggled up for the cold, and he was everywhere. And now that's all you can
I
see.
just want to mention really quick. I just got deja vu. Pretty crazy, but that just
For what?
off topic. I don't know. It's just being on a
feel like-
podcast.
Feel like we've
and
been doing
these
this
lights, I'm
podcast
like,
before.
no.
And also I think we did talk
hardly.
about. I think we
Hardly.
have talked about the Mike Tyson fight a little bit too. So it
was the lights. I've never had these lights. That was the deja vu. I was like, wait a minute.
Gotcha.
But just I'm pretty sure I had a dream about it last night. Came true. Psychic.
Interesting. But anyway,
one of the things about Bernie Sanders was I saw a tweet that said he looked like he had places to be. He was like, you know what? I'm gonna stop by Joe's little quick, little quick thing, and then I'm gonna be on my way. That's what he looked like.
This dude just looks so, and I saw another. It's funny. I saw a lot of memes about Bernie Sanders and not a lot of memes about anything else. But there was one where he came in his coat and he had that little file, that little like manila envelope in his arm, and he had it tucked in his side.
Yeah, when he was.
He didn't look happy, and there were memes that were like, Bernie Sanders looks like every teacher on their way to a faculty meeting that they know has nothing to do with them. Or like this Bernie Sanders, it was all teacher memes. He was like, Bernie Sanders looks like a teacher.
I wonder why you get him.
I know, right? He said Bernie Sanders looks like a teacher who's hoping to get some work done in the faculty meeting, or just like
he's just stopping at Joe's, and I'm just getting some work done. Like, I got stuff to do, but I gotta be here for my boys. So
I gotta be there for the homie. Respect to the homie, but I just gotta this whole election season has just been a nightmare. I'm glad it's over. and even the inauguration is kind of weird. You know, former Vice President Mike Pence and his wife were there, and that's great. Former President Trump was not in attendance at the inauguration, which I kind of think was a good thing, just because I feel like had he been there, it would have been some drama, or he would have tried to do so. I don't know. I don't
I
believe in
have
his character enough to like have faith that he would be able to be sensible there. So
that's a fact. That's a fact. I'm not, throw a little shots. So if anybody gets hurt, apologize. But we have Biden as a president now, but you're not gonna see us wearing any Biden merch or anything like any weirdos.
well,
Not
you
this,
know,
you know what I'm saying? Just
sometimes it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? So but it was weird, even though I don't trust that former President Trump um would have been sensible had he been at the inauguration. He's only the third president in history to not attend an inauguration. Or no, it's either he's the third or the fourth. But the last time that it was done was like the 1800s.
Jesus.
And like since then, every outgoing president has attended the inauguration.
They should. He does.
They should. I mean,
I'm like,
do you think that President Barack Obama really wanted to give up his seat to Trump? Like, let's just be real.
That's true. And
Like,
he was there.
I'm sorry, President Trump. I'm gonna keep it official, but he was still there. Listen, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know how I feel.
He's not president no more.
But we still address him as
President. President Trump. President Trump. You mean that guy that was in the
that old head? He's gone. Yeah, he gone. Yeah.
That guy that was in the Home Alone movie, the second.
Yeah, that guy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was in Home Alone 2. Yeah.
In New York.
But anyway, so it's just weird. I just find it funny that like that's the most important part, and like that's what people remember the most is like not the actual event that happened, but the aftermath.
We're getting canceled. I just find that funny. We're getting canceled.
No, we're not. We're not saying anything too bad yet. So, in fact, to keep us from moving from getting canceled, let's just move on to the next topic. All right, we're just gonna transition a little bit. So last night I was watching, one of my favorite online. I don't know what you call them. He's a comedian, but what are they called? Social media influencers, I guess you would call them.
Oh, right.
One of my favorite influencers is Kev on Stage. I think you know this already. And over the quarantine, Kev has been he created this a stand-up comedy show. So a lot of the clubs and stuff that comedians will be doing have been closed, and so he started. It's called Keep Your Distance Comedy, where he's the host of the show, and they go outside. They're somewhere in California with, it's a small little audience, and they just have stand-up comedians come on, and they do the little set, and it's whatever. It's great, fantastic comedians, some of the best I've ever seen. They are hilarious, and so I wanted to talk about today. Who are your favorite? Well, first of all, what are your opinions on stand-up comedy as a genre of comedy? Because a lot of people are like, I think there's this big discussion online between like an internet comedian and like a stand-up comedian, because a lot of people feel like Jason Banks, who's really popular on TikTok, he's one of our favorite TikTokers.
Hilarious.
He's a stand-up comedian, but because of COVID, like he had to switch it up, and he's now doing more, the TikTok comedy. I think he's still doing some shows and stuff.
So funny.
And stand-up. But there's a lot of people who feel like if you're an internet comedian, you're not a real stand-up comedian. Like people who have had to do it like the hard way, like like an Eddie Murphy, he originally was stand-up, like Dave Chappelle stand-up, and then had all of their things. But so there's this interesting discussion between the two. So what are your feelings first about stand-up comedy?
I like stand-up comedy. I mean, I don't know why or if people have those like, I don't like it and stuff like that. Cause I think stand-up comedy I think it's really entertaining. Like it's genuinely like, unless it's like and it's rare. But like, there's some shows that just aren't like that funny.
Yeah,
They're funny to
yeah,
others,
yeah,
but like, I'll still like kind of enjoy it. Like, I'll watch a couple of stand-ups on Netflix that I've never seen before, but there's like, oh,
yeah.
okay, I'll just give it a watch. But I like it. I mean, I, I don't know if I would ever go to one,
Oh,
but I'll
they're
gladly watch
great.
it on TV.
They're great in person. It's like it's a weird, you know. You're right because so I love stand up. Like I don't I think I don't watch a lot of movies. I prefer TV, but more so than anything, I love to laugh. So like I love stand up comedy because almost always I am cracking up at whomever I'm listening to, and usually I'm only watching my favorites, but every once in a while I'll discover someone new and it just the funniest thing in the world to me. I love the art of stand-up comedy because it is different than doing comedy like online, and it is different than just a lot of people think that stand-up comedy is something easy and that
Regardless,
anyone could do it. Like these
yeah,
people are trained
that's
professionals.
hard.
Like you
Yeah,
can't just get up and like me talking about my day at school is not going to be funny, at
yeah.
least because it's just not, there's a delivery to it, there's a whole rhythm to it, and it is an art. But I love watching stand up, and it's one of my favorite things to do. And so I was watching the Keep Your Distance comedy last night, and there is a particular comedian who I'll talk about a little bit later. But every single time I have watched his comedy, I have cried laughing. Every single, no matter how many, and I sent it to you, I texted it to you earlier. I've watched that special probably 15 times. And every single time that I watch it, there's a certain portion that I don't need to see the whole thing. There's a certain portion of it that I will watch on repeat and cry every single time that I watch it. It's that funny to me, even though I've seen it a million times. But I've actually been to a couple, now that I think about it, I've been to a couple stand-up comedy shows. I saw Kev on Stage and To Hear More and Tony Baker. I saw them perform in Philadelphia a couple years ago. That was great. I actually saw Kevin Hart um, 2 years ago for my birthday. He was coming to Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, and my family got me tickets for my birthday because that's how much I love stand up. I just wanted to go see him. So I actually saw Kevin Hart, um, just as hilarious in person, by the way, as he is on on the recordings. And I saw Trevor Noah. I saw Trevor Noah,
He's
I
funny.
think
Yeah,
last
he's
year
mad
or
funny.
2 years ago. My family went to see him. He was in Hershey. So I've seen a couple of stand-up and it is just a great time. It's like a concert, but instead of music, you're just there to laugh. And it's a great time. It is one of my favorite things in the world. So what I want to talk about is who are some of your favorite stand-up comedians? It could be your favorite stand-up specials if like you have one in mind, like the name of one, or it could be old comedians, it could be newer comedians, but give me like your top three, top five stand-up comedians.
Um, damn. I don't remember a lot that I've seen. I do.
Mhm.
I obviously I'll always remember any Kevin Hart one that I've seen for some reason because it's like it's so funny, and then like you can you can talk to somebody else who's seen it,
Mhm.
repeat it, and it still be as funny as like when you saw it and whatever.
Remember the one? Remember the one that he's talking about? He's talking about his dad, or is his dad or his grandpa? And he's saying, "Somebody, hey, hey, somebody come look at this. It is a cat drinking out the bowl. Get, get out the bowl." He said,
Oh man.
just standing there staring. Or when he's talking about Shaq, I think it was his first or second stand-up special.
Was it when
Um,
he fell when he like falls or
oh, and he
whatever?
talks about Shaq falling is the slow. He's like, oh, oh, oh,
Like,
oh. He's yo. Oh my God, I love Kevin Hart. He's so funny. I like it.
um,
Question before we go on. real quick, do you prefer Kevin Hart's stand-up or his acting? Which do you prefer? Because I can tell you, I love him as a stand-up comedian. I did
So
not.
yeah,
I started his last comedy special, the one that he did from his house. Which, by the way, how the heck you do a stand-up comedy special from your house? This man's house has got to be
huge,
ginormous. Like
humongous,
it's
big,
disrespectful. That's not okay. That's not okay.
crazy.
I actually fell asleep
So
during it,
funny.
but it was because I was watching it really late at night, and I fall asleep. I actually like how people listen to music and stuff to fall asleep. I actually listen to
Yeah,
stand-up comedy when I sleep. I don't listen to music.
I get
Um,
that.
so I fell asleep watching it, so I didn't go back and finish it. But anyway, I prefer his stand-up to his acting. I think acting wise, he plays the same character, and it's basically just himself, except for in the movie he did with Bryan Cranston.
The
The one where he was like the home care guy. He was like he was
yeah,
a
yeah,
scam.
yeah.
Well,
I
that
forget what it's called.
movie
Yeah.
was probably the only one that he didn't play Kevin Hart the
Mm-hmm.
entire movie. So that was the one that I give him credit for. But everything else, like him in Ride Along and him with that Dwayne the Rock Johnson movie, like I wasn't impressed by his
Central
acting ability.
Intelligence. I don't think
That's the one.
Central Intelligence. Yeah, I really like that. And like Jumanji, I think it's so funny. So yeah, I think the acting.
And
It's
I
like
know he's not like a classically trained actor, so he's not
yeah, yeah.
acting to be an actor. He's acting as a comedian. But I I don't know. I think it's probably because I love the art of stand-up comedy more than anything that I prefer
Mhm.
watching him do
When
stand-up
it comes
than
to
movies.
something being funny in comedy,
Yeah.
you
Now
yeah,
I will tell you his funniest movie to me is Get Hard. And I think I talked about this a couple episodes
never
ago.
seen it. I
Oh,
don't like
like you
Will
don't like Will Ferrell. Um that is probably to me his funniest movie that he's been in. I really liked Ride Along 1. I thought that was kind of funny too. But his funniest movie to me that he's been an actor in is got to be Get Hard. Oh my god, that movie's so funny. Anyway, I'm sorry I interrupted you.
I I think obviously he's not like you said he's not a trained actor or anything.
Mm,
So which one would I rather? I think it depends because like I'll say if I watch a comedy movie, the Kevin Hart type of movie
mhm. Mhm.
would be my go-to. That's the
I
kind of
agree.
comedy I
I agree with
prefer
you.
in movies. Absolutely. Like it doesn't even have to be the best actor ever, but like he's good
Mhm.
enough to like land the joke and it just be funny. Like you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So that kind of like if it comes from a different actor, but if it's
Mhm.
like that, I'll think it's automatically funny. For movies, that'll be like my kind, my favorite.
Right.
Like for stand up, um, I love his stand up. I don't. I tried to watch Dave Chappelle, and I know he's like a huge like it's fucking Dave Chappelle.
It's Dave Chappelle. But I just go kids.
But for Jose, like Grillo, you guys know as Jose, um, he loves Dave Chappelle. Like he loves his skits and stuff like. And I think his skits are kind of
The
funny.
skits are funny. The
There
Chappelle show is hilarious.
yeah, there was some that I through like genuinely enjoyed. He says there's like Key and Peele before Key and Peele was Key and Peele,
Basically.
and I see it, and it was great. He's not like my favorite, but he's not bad.
I agree. I wouldn't put him as one of my top stand-ups in terms of what I like. Um, but I like him as a comedian. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Yeah,
so back to Kevin Hart real quick before you continue your list of favorites. Um, if you were in the mood to laugh, would you prefer watching one of his stand-up specials or would you prefer to watch one of his movies? Because for me, I'm immediately going to stand
but
up.
stand up, yeah. I think if I wanted to laugh, I would watch one of his stand-ups because his movies like make me laugh. But
Yeah,
that would be like if I want to watch a movie that's gonna make me laugh, I would watch his
true,
movies. But
true.
if I want to watch something that like gonna make me laugh, I would probably watch a stand-up.
All right, that's fair. All right, keep going with your list, your favorites.
I'll put Kevin Hart at one because this is just like my favorite. Seems mainstream, but it's like I don't
Mhm.
care. It's like Drake being my favorite
Mhm.
artist
Mhm.
because you know. Um, but I'd say him one. I probably put. I want to put Trevor like top three for me because
Trevor.
Trevor Noah.
Oh, Trevor Noah. Okay.
Yeah, just I haven't seen that many,
He only
but
has two. I think he only has two specials.
yeah, and he has like that like show whatever that
The Daily Show. Yeah.
yeah. Um, yeah, like I haven't seen a lot of stand up shows, but I've seen like a good amount to be like, okay, like I like him, whatever. Um, from the off the top of my head, I don't remember a lot, but I mean, I kind of like John Mulaney. I don't know if I'll put him top
Oh, I
three.
like John Mulaney a lot. I think he's hilarious. Hope he's doing well. Get better soon, John.
Hope he's doing well.
Mhm.
Get better.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, I mean, I'd probably put him top three to be honest, because I've seen like like I found this guy on Netflix, because on the Netflix app on your phone they have like this
Yeah.
little thing where it's like quick laughs, which is basically
Mhm.
like a TikTok type thing for
Mhm.
Netflix. And he came up, so I was like, oh, this part's funny, so I'm gonna watch him. Like he was cool though, and like I've never seen Chris Tucker's live or Chris Tucker's show. I've seen like parts of like him talking about Michael Jackson and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Um,
Have you ever seen any of the classic? Like, so when I say classic, like a lot of people consider Eddie Murphy to be a
yeah, Eddie
classic comedian. Like, have
Murphy.
you
Yeah,
seen like Richard Pryor's by a lot of people is like the gold standard of comedy as a stand-up comedian.
I've heard that. Yes,
Um,
I've never seen
have
any
you
Richard
ever
Pryor.
watched Eddie Murphy's Raw or Delirious? Both very funny. Both very, very funny. I enjoyed them a lot. Um, or like any of the original Kings of Comedy. Steve Harvey is one of them. Steve Harvey is actually a really funny stand-up comedian. Um, when he was first coming up, before and or during the time that he had a TV show, like the Steve Harvey Show, which was a sitcom on TV. Um, he was with it was him, Cedric the Entertainer. I
Oh, I like Cedric. I
think
do like Cedric a little bit.
DL Hewley. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name, but DL
Okay.
Hewley and Bernie Mac. Now you want to talk about someone who can make you laugh. Bernie Mac is one of my all-time favorite comedians. He has this one joke that I cannot repeat, and it would have absolutely gotten him canceled in today's culture.
Oh,
But
Bernie
Bernie
Mac.
Mac is one of the funniest comedians that I have ever watched in my life. And I'm talking crying, laugh. I mean, just a great time. The Bernie Mac Show, which was a sitcom, also another fantastic show. I love Bernie Mac. So those were the original Kings of Comedy. So I enjoy all of them. Also, let's see, Kevin Hart, of course, his first like four specials, it was nonstop hilarity. I mean, you cannot miss. And like you said earlier, like that's he's one of those people that like you've heard the joke 65 times and every time you hear it, it's still funny. No matter, and it's really no matter who tells it. You don't even have to tell the joke well because you then remember like, oh, I remember how Kevin Hart told that joke, and that made me laugh. So that is some of my favorites. Who else do I consider some of my favorite stand-up
I've
comedians?
seen like Gabriel.
Gabriel Iglesias.
Yeah, I've seen like him,
I've
and I've
seen
seen
his stand-ups. I
and
like
yeah,
him, but I'm not a huge fan of
that's
his
why I say
stand-up.
what I say. 'Cause I've seen
Um,
not many, but I've seen like
I've seen
them.
so,
So,
but I've watched so many specials because I just love everything about stand up that it's hard for me to pick my favorites. I really like John Mulaney. I really like Jim Gaffigan. Have you ever seen Jim Gaffigan stand up? He's really funny too. He's kind of like this weird, like odd stand up comedy type of guy. He's got this weird like voice. He's funny. He's funny. Um, don't cancel me for this. I'm talking about the stand-up ability. Bill Cosby,
Oh my god.
when he was younger, before the Cosby Show, was a stand-up comedian, and he has one of my favorite stand-up comedy specials ever. Um,
Canceled.
it's called Bill Cosby Himself. That's the name of the special.
You're canceled.
One of the funniest comedy specials ever. I do not endorse the man as a person, simply as a comedian. And he has this one joke where he is talking about his kids and how much kids suck, and and he's talking about how his kids will turn on him against his wife when they were young, and he was like, I won't tell the joke because I'll do it a disservice, but check out Bill Cosby Himself if you want to see the joke. It's really funny. Whole special is really funny. Again, do not endorse him as a person, but his stand-up comedy is very funny. Who else are some of my favorites that I enjoy?
I'm
I
looking at a
can't
list and and number one is Richard Pryor.
see. I don't think I've ever seen.
Oh, I've seen Russell Peters. He's like kind of funny.
I like him actually. I like him a lot. And you know who else I kind of liked? Aziz Ansari. Again, don't endorse him as a person necessarily because of his actions, but I did enjoy his
That's only
stand up.
420.
Um, she already started you, King.
No,
Um,
she needs my help to like
oh,
play her song from the thing. That should be
mm,
at we have time. It should be at 5 if we get done before.
that's all right. Well, I won't take too much of your time. I just want to get through a couple more opinions, and then we'll do our 2 segments, and then we'll get up out of here.
Your
Um,
opinions are pretty.
Aziz
I just
Ansari, not a great person necessarily. He's done some not so great stuff, but I like him as a comedian. Um, Richard Pryor, I don't know this guy. Louis
what's
C.K. again. Do not enjoy him as a person. I do not endorse his actions. It's so unfortunate I have to say that because some of these comedians are really,
Louis
really funny.
C.K. He's top 5 on this list.
I see that. I'm looking at the Rolling Stones list. I'm looking at it too.
Actually,
His stand-up comedy is hilarious, but again, he has had some suspect actions in his life and done some things that aren't great. So don't endorse him as a person, but his stand-up comedy is kind of funny. Um, Chris Rock. Chris Rock, they have his number 5. Jerry Seinfeld's number
hmm
7. I like Jerry Seinfeld. He's so
I've never
dry.
even watched.
If you want to see what he's like as a stand-up comedian, he had a show on Netflix for a little while called Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. And it's literally he just like rents a super fancy like special edition car, and he'll pick up different comedians and they'll just talk and they'll just go on the drive and talk and laugh together, talk about comedy. It's actually very interesting, and it made me appreciate him even more. I mean, I really like the show Seinfeld. Um, so for me, it's an easy transition to watch that. But if you want to kind of get to know his style of comedy, it's kind of how you see it. But oh, while we're on the subject of our favorites, who are some of the comedians that like people in general find hilarious that you cannot stand,
A comedian that people find
or
hilarious.
your least favorite comedians? I
Well, I
can tell
cannot.
you. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was gonna say I can't say Amy Schumer because nobody likes her.
I
And I
can.
despise.
A lot of people like Amy Schumer, and I cannot stand her. There's no way
She's
she
not.
has three. There's no way she has 3 stand-up specials on Netflix and was the lead of several movies over the last couple of years, and her not be popular with somebody. But I do not understand why people find her funny because I find her utterly ridiculous and awful as a comedian.
She's terrible. Like
She's awful.
it's terrible. That's one. I don't know if there's any
Agreed.
others.
Agreed.
I can't think of any others. That's the first one I popped up. I was like Amy Schumer. Like I cannot stand
that
Amy
is
Schumer.
the easiest one for me because I also cannot stand her. No pun intended. Tiffany Haddish. I'm not a big fan of Tiffany Haddish, but I enjoy her comedy. She was very comedy. I just looked
When
up
she's
a
in
list
movies,
of the
I kind of
worst.
like her movies.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was just looking at a list of worst stand-up comedians ever. Guess who's number one on the list?
I hope it's Amy Schumer.
Same.
Terrible.
How do you feel about Dane Cook as a stand-up comedian?
Dane Cook.
Dane Cook.
If I knew who that
Um,
was, I would probably say
oh, you don't know who?
something.
Never mind. It doesn't matter. I liked him. I don't know that I would put him on my list of my favorites, but I probably wouldn't put him as my least favorite. I have one that I would put on a list. And I don't know if this is any specific kind of person that would tend to like this style of comedy, but I do not enjoy it. Larry the Cable Guy, not my
Not my
not my
favorite.
style of not my
They
favorite.
put Jeff Dunham. I mean,
I saw that too, and I appreciate Jeff Dunham. I like him. You know,
Yeah,
I wouldn't go out of my way necessarily. Like if I'm bored and I need something to watch, I would put on a Jeff Dunham. I'm not necessarily
yeah,
going to laugh, like crack up laughing while I'm watching him, but
yeah,
I would laugh, like I would chuckle. You know what I mean? Um,
yeah. This
so
I've never heard of Joe. I mean, I've heard of Joe Rogan, and I see him this year. Never watched any of this
he's
stuff. Jimmy
Joe
Fallon's.
Rogan. I've never seen his stand up, but he is super popular. He has a super popular podcast, and like everyone loves the Joe Rogan podcast. I think that's what it's called. Um, you know who's
Yeah, yeah.
funny? Who you might not know was a stand-up comedian? Bob
Who
Saget. Bob Saget is a funny stand-up comedian.
I've not
Uh,
known he was a comedian.
he, you know who I'm talking about, right? The guy who was on
Yeah,
Full House and
Bob's.
yeah.
Yes.
Um, he's really funny. Um, H. John Benjamin is an interesting stand-up comedian. Do you know who the voice of Bob's Burgers and Archer? Have you ever seen any of those shows?
I've seen Bob's Burgers. I haven't seen
The
Archer,
lead
but Bob's.
character Bob, his voice is voiced
Yeah.
by H. John Benjamin. He has a weird stand-up special. I was kind of looking forward to it because I thought he's funny in both of those shows. But the stand-up special is like him playing instruments and he's not a musician. So he's just like playing stuff. It's like a jazz album. He's like, yes, this song is called this, and then he just plays like the worst music you ever hear. Um, what else? I'm trying to
I mean,
think
you
now.
could probably be a comedian songwriter.
Who? Oh, me?
Yeah, your regular songs are pretty funny.
What was the guy? There is a guy who's
Completely
actually
ignored it.
really. There's a lot of I'm just ignoring you. There's a what I like about stand-up comedy too is that there's so much variety in what you can do. So you can have just like classic stand-up comedy, like a Kevin Hart or like a Dave Chappelle, like a John Mulaney, where they're standing up and they're telling jokes.
Yeah.
But then there's also like, you know, Jeff Dunham, who's a ventriloquist and does stand-up comedy. Like that's also, I like that. And there's some, and I cannot remember for the life of me what his name was. Bo Burnham? Let me see. I think that's his name. Yep, Bo Burnham is a stand-up comedian. And he did a lot of music. Like he plays the piano and does a lot of like funny little songs and stuff. And I think like
I've seen it before.
Steve Martin's played I think he played a lot of instruments while he did stand up. I think Robin Williams might have even played an instrument or two during his lifetime while he did stand up. But yeah, you know, I just really enjoy stand up comedy. It's always something that I wish like I could try one time just to see if I could. I actually a couple months ago I was just having some thoughts about you know what would it like be like to be a stand up comedian and what would I if I had like a topic to talk about, like what would I talk about? And I actually came up with one that I thought was kind of funny. And I put together a hot five, you know what I'm saying? Like a hot little, let me get me up on stage, let me do a quick little 5-minute routine. And I thought it was kind of funny. But I started to tell my family about it and and then they just started laughing at me, but not like at me like the jokes, like at me because they thought I was being silly. And then I felt insecure and self-conscious about myself and I stopped. So
It's a sad case.
Yeah, it is a terribly sad case. All right. We're going to take a really quick break. And when we come back, we're going to introduce our segment, Come On, Son. And then we're going to do our You Think You Know and get up out of here. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Yep.
All right. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Before the break, if you remember, we were talking about stand-up comedy. And I just realized I completely neglected the entire reason this topic came to my head. So last night, I was watching the newest edition of Keep Your Distance Comedy by Kev on Stage. What are you doing? You and your ADHD, bro. I can't stand you. So we were talking about, I was watching the stand-up special, and the comedian that came on, that he was the final comedian of the night. His name is Arnez J. I don't know. You said you've never heard of him. We talked about this off camera, but he is one of the funniest comedians I've ever heard in my life. And he has a special that used to be on Netflix, is now on Amazon, I think. It's called Racially Motivated. And there is a 10-minute segment in that episode that, I'm not kidding you, I would watch for an entire 24-hour period, and I would not stop laughing. Every time I show that segment to someone new, I laugh so hard every time, to the point of tears. So last night we were playing in the PlayStation party, and I happened to be watching this while we were playing the game. And Cheney got so mad at me that he told me to mute my mic because I was laughing too much, and I had nothing to do with what they were doing. But I'm literally sitting here playing 2K in tears because he was just nonstop for I don't even know how long he was on stage. But it was nonstop, just hilarity. So Arnez J goes straight to the top of my list as one of my favorite comedians of all time. And I've only seen one of his specials, and then that little set that he did last night. But he is so funny. So check out Arnez J if you're interested. And check out any one of the stand-up comedians. Let us know some of your favorites. That would be really cool to hear some of your favorite stand-up comedians. And, if you feel the same way about us, that Amy Schumer sucks as a stand-up comedian. All right. So now we are going to transition to our next segment. This is our newest segment, titled Come On, Son, where we take a minute to blow off some steam about the things that are heavy on our minds. And I'm going to start with one that I just find hilarious and something I find utterly ridiculous, and I just don't understand it. Brooklyn Nets. What are y'all doing? If you heard us on the last episode, we were talking about how unfair it was going to be for the Nets because they just traded for James Harden. So now you have Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving and James Harden all on the same team. But back-to-back games, they lost to the Cleveland Cavaliers? Like, Cleveland hasn't been good. Let's just be honest. They haven't been good without LeBron. In the history of the Cleveland Cavaliers franchise, I mean, before LeBron, they had a couple of decent years. But, since 2003, when LeBron James got drafted, there has not been a good season for the Cavaliers if LeBron was not in the uniform. And in back-to-back nights, the biggest three potentially that the world has ever seen is going to lose first game in double overtime. Like, how are you going to double overtime with the Cleveland Cavaliers? And then you're going to get beat literally the next game to them again. They lost back-to-back games to a terrible team by a combined score of 24 points. Brooklyn Nets. Come on, son.
I can imagine.
Crazy. So, Cheney, what's on your mind?
What's on my mind? I mean, I guess it's not really, I'm not like complaining about it, but I'm just utterly confused. WandaVision, the first Marvel series on Disney Plus ever, but WandaVision is so confusing. I'm so lost every episode. I'm like, not to spoil anything, but there was a part where they're like speaking and he's like realizing it's like, oh, this was weird. This was weird too. I think there's something wrong. The weirdest cut happened, like if like that part was deleted from the show, and like reshot. And then it went to like that. It went to like before that happened, like him talking again, and then saying a completely different thing. I was like, "Ooh, I'm sorry." What? And on top of that, the Celtics haven't been doing the greatest without Jason Tatum. So come on, son.
So question before we go to the next thing. So that's a hilarious take, and I have yet to watch WandaVision because I don't know how to feel about it. I've just listened to you talk about it, and
It's listen.
It does not entice me and make me want to watch it. I'm just gonna be honest.
It's no matter how weird it seems right now, the trailer it seems very promising that it's gonna get very good eventually.
Oh, I'm sure it will.
Getting to there, it's like they start at like 40s, 50s, or whatever, like stay calm.
Like I love.
And then like the next episode is like a decade later, kind of sitcom, and then the next episode, another decade later, a different sitcom of that kind of that decade. It's like so interesting.
So what do you think? What do you think about the newly announced Captain America series?
I was interested. That clears up the reason on him coming back as Captain America, which they said that I was like, I don't know why. I'm interested. I'm guessing it's a series about him bringing back the stones like he did in the movie.
Yeah,
that's
probably a good.
It's really cool because like he goes back in time and he does all that, and then like they'll look at the bench and he's old, so it's like I think that's really cool. The fact if that's what it is that they'll go back and show us what exactly happened when he gave back or put back the stones where they used to be. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I'm trying to figure out like what the heck were they gonna do? Like how are you gonna have a Captain America movie or a TV show? Like it doesn't make sense. But now that you said that, because he goes in and gets the stones back, but that's not explained in the movie. So like how does it happen? That's a good point.
Yeah. It seems really interesting. I didn't think of it I didn't think of it before until now. I'm like, damn, that does make sense because I saw the picture. And he has the Soul Stone, and he's seen
whatever he's seen.
Fuck his face is. Well, Alvin.
Yes.
Seems like a great time to switch over to our probably, especially mine, favorite segment of our episode. Which is that you think you know. Yeah. Today's edition is called "You Think You Know 90s 2000s Sitcom." You can't see me much because
I do like my TV. Oh my God!
You
do. It's fine. We can see. We can find you. We can see you. It's good. It's good.
Fuck it. There you go. If you're new to the show, I'm gonna explain how this game works. In a moment, I'm going to be reading 15 descriptions about popular sitcoms from the 90s and the 2000s. And in 30 seconds or less, Alvin has to come up with the name of that show. You think you know, we only take the first answer that is given, and we are trying to see how much Alvin really knows or thinks he knows about the 90s and 2000s sitcoms.
I was born in 1996, the last day of 1996, but I have watched a lot of 90s TV. And so I'm excited. I think I got this.
You think so?
Hopefully. I'm aiming for the average 10 for 15. So
I'm sure you'll get at least 10, that's for sure. All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Do you need me to do the time?
Yes, I was going to say that, yeah.
I'm going to make sure I never run out of time. Go ahead. You're good.
Cool. All right. Number 1, the continuing misadventures of neurotic New York City stand-up comedian and his equally neurotic New York City friends.
Oh, that's Seinfeld.
That is correct. It is Seinfeld.
I was like, what? I was like, who's this thing? There's not like I'm thinking of all the TV shows like the Bernie Mac show. Anyway.
All right. 1 for 1. Starting great. Looking good. Number two, a mockumentary on a group of typical office workers where the workday consists of ego clashes, inappropriate behavior, and tedium.
I mean, the obvious is The Office. That's what I'm gonna go with because it's the only thing that makes sense. But what year did
Right.
that come out?
Mm,
Are you going
2000s.
by? Are you going by the? What
It was
year did The Office
2000s.
come out?
It's a 2000s show.
Is it
2005, bro.
like? Are you talking about the BBC version or the American, the UK version, or the US
The
version?
American. The US came out in 2005.
2005.
Yeah. We need to pause really quick because the helping will be. Just give me a second.
Okay. All right. We'll be right back.
All right. Question number 3. Or description. A woman who moves into an apartment across the hall from two brilliant but socially awkward physicists.
Physicist. What year did this show come out? That's The Big Bang Theory. You don't even need to keep going. That's The Big Bang Theory. That's an easy one. But what year did that come out? See, that's crazy because The Office feels super like maybe it's because I watch it a lot, but like The Office feels super familiar, like super recent. And The Big Bang Theory.
Yeah. It was 2007.
Oh my gosh, 2000, and it was on until like 2 years ago.
Yeah, it went up to 2019. So
that's insane. That is insane.
It's like 10 years, 12 years of freaking.
I don't even like that show that much. I really don't. I'm not impressed by it at all.
I liked it. I liked the show.
It was kind of funny. Really but it was. Yeah, it's just whatever. Not a big fan.
All right. What is it? 4?
Question number 4.
Question number 4. Follows the personal and professional lives of 20 to 30-something-year-old friends living in Manhattan.
Friends.
Okay. There you go. Great job. You're doing fantastic.
Man, I might get 15 for 15 at this point. If it's going to be this easy, sheesh. Be our first perfect score.
Maybe 2005.
No, that one I knew was early 2000s. That one's not a question to me. That's easy. Did you say question 5?
No, Friends is 9. It ended in 2004. It started in 94.
I'm sorry. What did you just tell me? The last episode of Friends was 2004?
Yeah. Did you think it was before or after?
After.
After?
I didn't think it started in 1994. I thought it was at least like 2002 to like 2012.
No. Damn, it's old. Like, damn.
It's old. Oh, it's old. Oh yeah, that's different. I would have, my timing. It's been on reruns all of my life. So there's never been a time in my life where I haven't seen Friends on the TV. So it just feels like it's been, you know what I'm saying? Like, anyway, I got it right, so it doesn't matter. Next question.
My next question. What is this, 5? Yeah.
Yes.
A widowed broadcaster raises his 3 daughters with assistance from his rock and roll brother-in-law and his madcap best friend.
Read that again.
A widowed broadcaster raises his 3 daughters with assistance from his rock and roll brother-in-law and madcap best friend.
I think I know. Have you seen this show before?
I have.
Do you like it?
I do.
And that's my time. My guess is, I don't know if this is right, but I'm going to say Frasier. No, Frasier's a therapist.
But you went with Frasier first, so I'm going to take that one.
I didn't. It's the only answer you could take.
Yep.
What? You know what my first thought was before you kept going? My first thought was 2.5 Men. I don't know why. I was thinking like widowed, even though his wife didn't die. She just left him. But
a widowed broadcaster, a newsman, if you may, with his rock and roll brother-in-law Jesse, madcap best friend. Joey, his three daughters. DJ.
Full House? That's how they describe Full House?
Yep, rock and roll brother-in-law and madcap best friend
Oh
with three
my
daughters.
God, you're so yeah. By that description, I was never gonna get that. There was no way. Wow.
I was like,
Wow.
I even said three daughters. Rock and roll
I'm
brother-in-law
trying to
and
think of all the
madcap
TV shows in my life that has three daughters, and my mind went completely blank. I remember watching Full House as a kid. It was never my favorite thing to watch, so maybe that's why, but it just
Yeah, number six.
six, five or
Right.
six. Well,
Six,
there
you
went
said
my
five.
perfect score. That's tragic.
Yep. Well, happens.
Spoke too soon.
Anyways, number six. A streetwise poor young man from Philadelphia sent by his mother to live with his aunt, uncle, and cousins in their Bel Air mansion.
In West Philadelphia, born and raised, this Fresh Prince of Bel Air. Come on, bro. Come on. Come on, son.
Come on, son. All right, I'm gonna go over to the 2000s real quick and do I think you know this one. You know what? I think you know this one. Okay. A father recounts to his children
How
through
I
a
Met Your
series
Mother.
of.
Great
Can-
show.
You gotta let me finish the sentence.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish the description.
Nope, you got it.
It's a great show. I love that show. Here's the thing about TV is if it was on Netflix and it was really popular, I've probably watched it. I've watched the number of full series of TV shows that I've watched on Netflix is probably disgusting. Anyway, I'm sorry for cutting you off. I won't do it again. How I Met Your Mother.
That was 6, I believe.
Did you know? Yes, might have been 7 actually. Did you know that I once sang with Neil Patrick Harris?
You once sang with Neil Patrick Harris?
I did. True story. My senior year of high school, my concert choir at school, we got to sing in the Candlelight Processional, which is a big thing that they do down in at Epcot and Disney. And so they have a celebrity guest host every day. I think there's a different one for like weeks at a time. And a bunch of choirs, like you have to audition and you have to be like selected and stuff to go down and sing at that processional. It's a pretty cool event. But my choir got to be there. And so the night that we were there with a whole bunch of other schools, it wasn't just me, unfortunately. A whole bunch of us were there and we got to sing, and he was the narrator for the event. So he was, probably 20, 30 feet in front of me, but yeah, I got to sing with he sang a little bit. He sang with the choir, so it's my fun fact that I often forget about.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow, didn't know that one. Question number 7. You ready for this one?
I'm ready.
How do you say this word? A hedonistic jingle rider's freewheeling life comes to an abrupt halt when his brother and 10-year-old nephew move into his beachfront house.
This would be 2.5 Men.
This would be 2.5. This was 2003 to 2015.
Now this one I know is old. I mean, it lasted forever, but I know that one is old.
Yep. I kept seeing commercial break or trailers or whatever, when you're watching
trailer, yeah.
Yeah, when you're like watching cable and then like it pops up and like, oh, tonight or whatever. Yeah. I bought the show. I've never watched it, but I always saw it.
It was trash after Charlie Sheen left and Ashton Kutcher was on. It was trash, but
All right. 8. Pretty sure.
I think so.
Yeah. Question number 8. And now you've only missed one, so that means just 6 or 7. Not bad. Not bad. All right. In a wacky Rhode Island town, a dysfunctional family strive to cope with everyday life as they are thrown from one crazy scenario to another. Terrible way to describe this show, but I'll read it again. In a wacky Rhode Island town, a dysfunctional family strive to cope with everyday life as they are thrown from one crazy scenario to another.
I'm trying to think of who lived in Rhode Island. I didn't think anyone would ever said anything in Rhode Island. I'm gonna say just as a shot in the dark because I genuinely don't
Wait,
have
I'll
an
give you a
idea.
hint. I'll give you a hint. Animation.
That doesn't help. I was gonna say Boy Meets World. So this is an animated TV show, Rhode Island. I mean, this probably set around kids. My time is run out. I don't have any idea.
I hate the description, and I'm so sorry that they had to do this to you. Family Guy.
I hate myself for not being able to get that because they are absolutely. You know what? I thought they were from Massachusetts. It was not going to make a difference because I was definitely not going to get that. But yep, Quahog.
Yep.
You know what? It is Quahog, Rhode Island, isn't it? Yep. It's okay. That's an awful description of the show because it's very
Terrible.
random and
It's
very obscure.
like-
but hey,
whatever.
you know what? I got it wrong. I'm only missed 2. I'm good. Next question.
Next question. That would be 9. Yes. Okay. A comedy revolving around a group of teenage friends, their mishaps, and their coming of age, set in 1970s Wisconsin.
Speaking of 70s, and also speaking of Ashton Kutcher, this would be That 70s Show.
This would be That 70s Show.
Good show.
7 for 9. Wow.
Yes, sir.
You're in the
I'm doing
good.
I'm doing pretty great.
Yeah. Imagine. So, question 10.
10.
Yes. The Winslow family deal with. Oh my god, that was terribly read. Alright. The Winslow family deal with various misadventures, many of them caused by their pesky next door neighbor, ultra nerd
Steve Urkel.
Steve Urkel.
Played by actor Jaleel White,
Jaleel White.
who had an alter ego, Stefan Urkel.
Stefan Urkel.
He was the alter ego of Steve Urkel on the TV
yeah.
show Family Matters.
It is Family Matters. 8 for 10. You're looking
Great show.
good.
I'm chilling.
Well, you're not looking good. That yeah. All right, 8 for 10. Number 11. An adolescent with 2 siblings tests his various theories about life as he endures the trials of growing up alongside a good friend.
You're going to have to run that back. I didn't catch none of that.
An adolescent with 2 siblings tests his various theories about life as he endures the trials of growing up alongside a good friend.
I'm not going to lie to you. I don't have a clue. So I'm going to throw out a random TV show.
Right.
I'm going to name some of the characters and just look at, give me the, you know what I'm saying? Topanga, Sean, Mr. Feeney.
Okay.
They're all on the show, right?
What's the show name?
The Boy Meets World.
Clarified answer.
It is.
Close. Because you're right. It was because you're right.
Listen, here's the thing. What's crazy is that I was just guessing, and I wanted to say Boy Meets World for like 4 of these questions already. And this was the only one that I didn't watch the show. Like, I don't remember anything. I just knew those characters' names. Corey, Sean, Topanga, Mr. Feeney. I literally know their names, nothing about them at all. It was just a guess.
I've seen it. I like it.
I've never seen the scene. I don't think I've watched a single episode in its entirety. But I got it right, so it doesn't matter.
9 for 11.
Yeah.
Wow.
Going for the best score yet.
Number 12. I mean, this is pretty easy. Ellen Morgan is a neurotic bookstore owner who deals with life through comedy and extensive rambling.
Who? What's her name?
Ellen Morgan is a neurotic bookstore owner who deals with life through comedy and extensive rambling. It ran for 4 years, so it wasn't greatest. But it was 18, so it was top 30. So it was 18, number 18.
Alan Morgan. That name doesn't sound like it rings a bell at all.
I mean, it will. Take a guess.
Nope.
Nothing?
Nothing.
The show is called Ellen by Ellen DeGeneres in 1994. Ran till 1998.
When the heck did she have a TV show?
In 1994, which
Okay,
ran to
that- I hate you so much. Oh my! It was. I knew you were gonna say that. I just.
Like I just said it. Like I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
Now you're 9 for 12. 9 for 12.
Yes, Cheney. I'm 9 for 12.
Number 13. Sassy sitcom centering on radio and television personality, Mr. Payne. Series focuses on his romantic relationship with girlfriend Gina and her best friend Pam, and escapades with best friends Tommy and Cole. I have said Mr. Payne and Gina still came up. I was like, you know what?
Let me sing you a little bit from the theme song. 1,
I don't
2,
think we.
3, 4. Martin. That's it. That's it. Martin.
That's it.
I'm right, so you don't have to. You just don't waste my time. Yeah.
No, it's right. It's right. It's right.
No, I know.
Um,
I would not have get it. It took me a while. Once you started listing all the character names, I was like, oh, now that sounds like something I know. But without that, I don't think I would have gotten it.
Number 14.
Honestly.
10.
Okay.
10 for 13. Wow.
Correct.
That's not bad. It's not bad.
I'm doing pretty good.
Tia Landry and Tamara Campbell are twins separated
on,
at birth who learn of each other's existence and come together as teenagers.
They run together. They meet each other and run into each other in a shopping mall, in a clothing store. That's how they meet. So dad and one daughter and mom and the other daughter happen to back into each other at a clothing store while they're shopping, and they turn around and face each other, and that's how they meet and realize, oh my God, I have a twin, someone who looks just like me. In the TV show, Sister, never knew.
Is that what happens in the show?
That's what happens in the show.
So they just hold that and then put it into Twitches. Same thing.
Correct. So
wow.
So that's how the show starts, and then like do mom and dad get back together? Something happens where they like lived. I'm pretty sure they live together. The sisters do, and I missed that show. That was one of my favorites growing up.
I don't care. Anyways.
Great theme song, by the way, if you're looking at TV show theme songs. 11.
So you're already above that.
11 for 14. I'm above that. Baby.
Yeah, 11 for 14. What's the highest? Like 12? So, I mean.
I think 12 with Seth. I think Seth had the.
If you get this one, you're probably tied. So, let's see if.
I just had a panic attack that I never hit record, but we're good.
Oh, no, you hit record. Yeah, you're good.
I was a little nervous.
Okay. You're probably going to get this, so you're welcome. The satiric, is that right?
Satiric. We went over this.
Why do I keep saying that? It's because
the word is, the noun form is satire,
then satiric adventures of a working class family.
Every TV show ever, Cheney.
Fine. I'll finish the sentence, whatever.
Oh, okay.
The satiric adventures of a working class family in the Misfit City. Springfield. Adventures of a working class family in the Misfit City of Springfield.
This is not animated, right?
It is. It is.
American Dad.
Say your final answer.
It has to be, even though I realized that was not from the 1990s, probably not from the 2000s.
It's not from the 90s.
The freaking Simpsons. You're kidding me.
Springfield. So you stayed at 11 for 15.
The freaking Simpsons.
Such a sad case. It's such a sad case.
This has been another episode of Afro Latinos.
No. It's not bad. You got one.
I didn't tie the high
average.
score with the freaking Simpsons, bro.
You got one more than we usually get, which is fairly good.
The Simpsons, though, Cheney.
You lose with the Simpsons. Like, come on. I'll give you possibly the easiest
just
one.
did not. Springfield did not click until I said the wrong answer.
You said Archer. Wait. But you already said it. So
I said American Dad, not Archer. But same
is that old? Wait.
Archer is very new. Archer is
American Dad like Family Guy?
Yeah, it's Family Guy without the, you know how like every joke that Family Guy makes, they do a cutaway to another like thing?
Yeah.
It's without that.
Okay.
I actually prefer American Dad to Family Guy.
I've never watched either of them, and I'm okay without them. So.
American Dad started in 2005.
Thank you guys for watching.
Oh, okay. You're just gonna ignore me? Okay, that's fine. Oh my gosh, the Detroit Lions and Matthew Stafford are going to be parting ways. Which throws a
Where the hell is
this throws a wrench in all of the trade plans, in all of the draft plans, because the Lions have like the fourth pick. Justin Fields. They'll need a cornerback.
This is a great conversation for another
episode.
Yeah. Oh, not a whole other podcast. I mean, we can create an old podcast, but that'd be irrelevant. You know,
we got to find it. I would like to venture and find something, another thing, but we got time for that. It'll be
we don't need anything else. What's wrong with you?
Of course we do. There's never enough content in the world. But anyway, this has been a fantastic episode of Afro Latinos with your co-host Alvin and
Chandler.
Please make sure to check us out on Facebook and on YouTube at Afro Latinos, as well as Anchor and where all digital podcasts can be found. This has been a pleasure. And everyone, have a good day.
Goodbye.